Hi everybody, my name is Emily Groepper. I am a PhD candidate in the Department of German, Nordic, Slavic, and Dutch. My focus is on medieval German literature, specifically Märchen, which is a slippery literary form. We try to avoid the use of the word genre because the narratives encompass so many different types of content and have so many different purposes for which they were used. Märchen are typically verse narratives that are 200 to 2,000 verses long. They're usually or primarily written in rhyming couplets, and most often they are fictive stories that often end with an epimethean or begin with a promethean. So you can see they might have a didactic feature to them. Usually these stories are populated by character types rather than individual characters that are more well-rounded. My research specifically focuses on expressions of grief and the formation of emotional communities through those expressions. But due to the nature of this particular project that the Center for Medieval Studies is doing, I'm hoping to present to you a somewhat happier story, even though it does contain a little bit of grief. And it also has some fun, gruesome moments too. So the story I'm presenting today is called Die treue Gattin, or The Faithful Wife. It was written by Gattin von Wildoni. He lived between 1220s and 1280. His birth and death dates are not specifically known. And he's known for having written 4 narratives and 3 Minnesänger poems. And he's from the region, a very broad, vague region around Bohemia, Austria, southern Germany. And he uniquely is stylistically regulated. So most of his works have a specific style that is consistent throughout the text. In general, Märchen don't have a specific meter, and they tend to vary a lot. But this particular story is told in iambic tetrameter. And Treue Gattin was written after 1257. We do not have a more specific date for it though. So I will begin by reading to you the Middle High German, the first 12 lines of the story. And then I will read a verse translation of it, which was done by J.W. Thomas in 1972. It's an English translation that we have access to because of the coronavirus. It is available online through Hathy Trust. Wir sollen von lieben Dingen sagen und leider mehr gar gedagen. Und sie tuend weh dem Herzen gar, ich han allü minü Jahr. Mit Leiden mehren her verzehrt, davon ich Freuden bin beheert. Und gute Meere machen froh, du Leiden hand getan mir so, dass ich williglich in Bier, zwar du was statt an mir, da well ich das mir rechtet kummt und mich an meinen Freuden frommt. We ought to tell of pleasant things, and never dwell on that which brings unhappiness to those who hear. Indeed, I've wasted many a year with gloomy stories since a boy, which left me oft bereft of joy. Good stories make one glad, but oh, the other kind have irked me so. I do without them willingly. Whene'er the choice is up to me, I choose the ones that I prefer, the tales which make me happier. To summarize the rest of the story, it's not quite as happy as the prologue might make it seem, but that gives you sort of the idea of why Gattin von Wildoni wrote this particular story or chose to tell it. But in this story, a beautiful woman is married to an ugly knight, and they are both very much in love with each other. While away from his wife, the knight loses an eye in battle. Distraught, he calls his nephew to him to have him send a message home to his wife. The knight believes he is now much too ugly for his wife, and he will bring shame to her reputation. So he releases her from their vows and will not return home. When the nephew brings the news to the wife, she grieves his injury and absence. The nephew assures her that she will not be able to convince her husband to return, so the wife gouges out one of her own eyes with scissors. She tells the nephew to inform her husband that if he still will not come home, she will take out the other eye too. The knight mourns the news from his wife, but realizes her loyalty to him despite physical appearances, and he returns home, and they live happily ever after. I encourage you to check out the full version of this story, which is available temporarily via Half-Day Trust. Like I said earlier, I hope it brings you some small respite from reality as well. Thank you.